People dislike Resident Evil 6. I get it. Not a scary game by any stretch of the imagination, right? But the problem is a lot of people realize that this is the direction that Resident Evil was going in. More action with horror elements, to the point where most regular people aren't afraid of it. But you also got to realize that this would be a fantastic entry point for most Resident Evil fans, because they get introduced to so many different characters, right? All at once. Old characters that are long past still have a lingering effect on the plot, and we get some insight on that as well, because then next thing you know, if we like the characters, which I do like all the characters that we get to play as, and some of the side characters as well, looking at you, Hunnigan, and Derek Simmons, even though again partially just a one-note villain or a plain villain, right? They could still be researched upon and be like, oh, that's what happened in this game, that's what happened in that game, man, I need to experience that. Wow, that's crazy. Like, that's literally what Resident Evil 6 is. It's the culmination of everything that happened. Everyone, like Resident Evil, like for Leon's campaign, for example, we hear all about Raccoon City over and over and over again, and how he was one of the few survivors over and over. Never forget that day. Raccoon City, Raccoon City, Raccoon City. People are going to want to play Resident Evil 2 after that. I don't think I can remember. I don't think they talked about anything Resident Evil 4 related. I'm trying to think. I don't think so. I don't think anything Resident Evil 4 related was mentioned in Resident Evil 6. So that could be liberated a little bit more. So people will want to go back to Resident Evil 2. See Resident... Actually, Hunnigan is Resident Evil 4. Never mind. They want to know Leon's connection with Hunnigan. They'll want to know... what happened in Raccoon City. And Helena, though she is mostly fodder, she could still be included in the plot. The way that she can be included in the plot is instead of her partnering up with Leon, she actually acts like the criminal that she is, because she somehow like left her post protecting the president at that moment in time, and he got infected. Now, I don't know what their security looks like. I don't know if they have cameras on them at all times, or if they have like anything, or if it's just agents that are there the entire time, because I feel like cameras can be a double-edged sword. So I don't think they do have cameras on them, so it's just keep your post. I think that Helena would be the one that would spurt some gas into his face, and once he inhales it, it's already too late. He's going to turn and get infected. He starts wailing, gasping, breathing, trying to get some air, starts flailing on the floor. Leon and Claire hear from where they're from. Leon is at his post still. Claire is nearby, someplace safe, or someplace that isn't overwhelmed by student or media that won't get in her way for Terra Grigia work, right? They go in, see the president struggling, trying to breathe. They're trying to figure out what's going on. They don't draw their weapons, like they have their weapons drawn, but they're searching the room trying to see if there's anyone there. They secure it, and they try to help the president. And the president's trying to say something, but he can't say anything. Then the rest of the gas starts to spread throughout the school. It won't spread to that room, however, because plot convenience, and also they need a scapegoat for the crime that has just been committed. So everybody gets infected, smoke hits all over the place, and now the president is fully infected. Then we have Resident Evil 6's opening with Leon and Claire instead. And then boom, Leon shoots the president, and Claire chimes in and says, "I think I know who did this." It was the other person on the other post. What was her name? Helena Harper or something like that. She said she was heading to the cathedral to go and get something or someone. I don't know. I didn't hear much from the phone call, but she was on the phone with somebody else, a higher authority of sorts. And of course, while Hunnigan's talking about everything that's going on, Claire mentions that, and then they go looking for Claire, like Helena Harper. They go and look for her. They track her down to said cathedral. But right before they can catch her getting out of the city, they get like cornered by a lot of zombies. She makes a whole bunch of noise, drives her vehicle away, and she's driving through the cathedral, leaving Claire and Leon in the dust. Then we repeat everything that's happening around them for the next segment, right? Everything's going to heck. Nothing looks normal anymore. Nothing feels safe. Then the bus that's taken to the cathedral's going there. Boom, same scenario. Everybody dies except for Leon and Claire. Boom, same scenario again. And then they move forward to the cathedral, except of course obviously the dialogue is going to be changed to match their character and bonding a lot more and their dynamic. They head to the cathedral and they actually catch Helena this time instead of actually solving the puzzle, because she can't solve it by herself. Claire and Leon corner Helena and they're like, you got to tell me what's going on or else you're going to be in for a world of pain or whatever, or we're going to turn you in. And Helena bargains and says, we really need to get down there. We don't have time for this. I'll explain later. Then that sort of thing is acceptable because now they're curious and they also can see and hear her pleading because she doesn't care about anything else but figuring out how to get inside this cathedral underground stuff, right? They keep a close eye on her. She helps them fight off any and all zombies, helps them do the puzzles. And then when they get in there and find out that her sister Deborah isn't in there, she starts to lose it, and she's not resisting she's still trying to find her. She's not resisting nearly as much. We now consider her mostly an ally for the most part, because whatever happened, she say, oh, I've been framed. I actually, though I left my post, I actually did not kill the president or affect the president. Boom, it all adds up, it all makes sense. We go to the underground part. We find Deborah. She's infected. She dies. Claire comforts her because she knows what it's like to lose somebody that's close to her. Actually, never mind. I went back on this as well, and I said instead of Leon and Claire, it could be Barry, honestly, because he lost a daughter. If you didn't play Revelations 2, you wouldn't know this, but Barry has 2 daughters. I don't remember the second daughter's name, but I know that he has a daughter named Moira. And he lost her unjustly and unfairly to things that he could not control. And it is what it is, right? And Helena wants to make Simmons pay, but she can't now. However, Leon and Claire can't just leave her wherever she is because they still need her as a witness, and they also still need to find and interrogate and take down Simmons, because he's starting to say, oh, they were the only ones that are at the crime. Maybe they're the ones that did it, blah, 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 blah. They go on ahead and do that. They gather the troops, rally the troops, and they go to the underground place. Same thing happens. They leave it. Same thing happens. And now they're all floating around in the water, wondering what's going on. Or maybe Helena's waiting out there for them and saves their lives, and that's what happens instead of them just floating downward. Like, that would be way more interesting, because it'd be like, it would go to show that she's innocent and she wouldn't let the people that are trying to do right at all get caught up in all that nonsense. Bada bing, bada boom. Fake their deaths. Make Helena stay in someplace safe. Trust that Hunnigan will keep her safe somewhere in America, because right now, though things are going straight down into HE double hockey sticks over here, it's not the worst because it's still somewhat contained. It's only in specific cities and stuff, whatnot, whatever, right? Leon and Helena get on a plane and head to China to figure out what's going on, and boom, it plays out mostly the same again. And then the game just plays out mostly the same again. Like, it literally doesn't get any easier than that. The story's fixed. We get a character that we like. We get the dynamic that we like, and characters that we do like stay around. Like, if we like Helena, then she still stays. She still plays her plot points, and Leon and Claire also get to bounce off of one another as main protagonists. Now, for Chris's campaign, it makes the most sense that it's peers, because if we ended up losing Helena, or if we ended up losing Sheva or Jill in this campaign, it would hit and hurt a lot harder. But I don't think that Capcom wanted to do that to a already established character. They wanted to do it with Piers, and even though Piers is still a great character despite everything, it would have made more sense for it to be somebody that had a future as the next generation's Chris Redfield, because he literally was the next generation's Chris Redfield. And despite everything, he still ended up dying, and it hurt because Chris is tired of seeing men die for his cause by his command to save the world, because he wants it to be him, because I know he's deep down depressed and tired of running around trying to save the world from bioterrorism all by himself, knowing dang well that he's gonna see a lot of people that he loves and cares about die. So he's like, I want to give the mantle to you because you're built for it better than I am these days. And it ended up backfiring, and then it helped him come to the realization that he's probably gonna spend the rest of his life doing something like this. And it just reinforces just how heroic Chris Redfield is as a person, and how kind he is, and how willing he is to go above and beyond as a person. So realistically, if we were still to change that campaign, we might slam Barry in there, we might slam Jill or shove it in there, but it won't make much sense because it would still suck to lose them, because that transformation thing was them going above and beyond. Chris couldn't do something like that. He hasn't done anything like that before. He's never went as far as to infect himself to fend off his enemy, ever. Now for Jake and Sherry's campaign, it's still perfect. Maybe people wanted a kiss or something. That's something that we can get, maybe. But think about this for a second. Albert Wesker and William Birkin were like dogs back in the day. And they were tight-knit. They knew what was going on with one another. And that's what made their dynamics so cool. The fact that their children are back at it again just goes to show that they are pulling the strings of their own children's life and causing them to stick together. And it's funny that the family bloodlines are still cross-intersecting, and the fact that the parents were villains and they ended up growing up to be the heroes is poetic and beautiful in of itself. They ended up probably even being lovers. Like, that's how insane that's how much I like that plot point and that storyline, because Jake's still gonna be a savage, he's still gonna be cool, doing the right thing, but Sherry's still gonna be doing her thing, which is science, literally. Jake's going to be doing all the field work while Sherry's going to be doing all the data analytics work that William does. It's literally night and day, same difference, and it's wonderful. Now Ada doing what she does, again, not too much to complain about in my opinion. I just feel like she does have her own plot point. There's an imposter going around there. She's helping everybody out, making sure that like people that are capable or key players in this apocalypse make it out. Like, again, the first two could be changed, but the last two not so much, because their stories complement their characters too much for it to be this sucks, bad news bears. Like, I literally love those last two campaigns for what they are. They should not be changed. And if we're just talking about adding overall horror, like, again, that goes against the point that I made in the beginning. We are here because of the fact that Resident Evil got more action oriented and the characters evolved to be more action oriented. The only reason why 7 and 8 saved the franchise the way they did is because we're no longer dealing with our characters like that anymore. They're not being viewed in the same light, because straight up we're not even playing them in the first place until DLC happens or we get to a certain point in the game, and that's when we actually get to pop off, which makes sense because, again, Chris has done this before. Resident Evil 5 is his Resident Evil Village. He doesn't need the hand-holding or to be careful or afraid anymore. He's done this. Technically, like, the thing is, Ethan echoes the path that Chris, Jill, Barry, Leon, Claire, Jill, I already said Jill, and Carlos all walked. That's literally what he's doing. He's echoing their journey, but in his own way. And except he does what they couldn't, which was sacrifice himself for the greater good. They never got that opportunity, so that's what makes him a hero, but also the fact that he was literally a regular person before any of this happened. So yeah, before you go and hate on Resident Evil 5 and 6 and praise Resident Evil 4 and below, think about it. This is what we wanted, and that's what we got, and that's what Capcom delivered. I personally still would like a Resident Evil 5 remake if they're not gonna go remake Resident Evil 6, even though it needs it more so than people want it. I need a remake on this game. There's so much content in here and a lot of things that they can easily fix that people have been complaining about for years, because people don't even like the plot points of it all. It doesn't ruin any plots from the original games. It doesn't feel convoluted and hard to follow, in my opinion. Like, I literally can follow these campaigns super easily. The only time that I got shaky was with Chris's, which I didn't realize he was having a flashback the first time I played it, and that we were playing said flashback. I was like, what? Why are we in the future? What's going on? I didn't pay attention to the dates. I was just goofing off and looking at, like, yo, what's the situation, and that's it. But after a while, I'm like, dude, they went back in time and they showed why Chris is so vengeful and why he's having these flashes and visions and why he's drinking in bars. I've been ranting him for so long now. I'm trying to drive this point home, and I know this is completely starkly different from the video I just uploaded, but I hope y'all got the message, because I cannot stress this enough. Resident Evil 6 is a perfectly good action game and Resident Evil game, and I hope you guys understand. I also got people into Resident Evil because of these games. That's right, sucker. If you try to compare and contrast, if we were to have me bring Resident Evil fans in through this game and you try to bring Resident Evil fans in through Resident Evil 1, yeah, we're going to that one, the one that's the O's of G's. They're not going to want to play Resident Evil. They're going to like, tank controls suck, even though, again, if you just play it a little bit, you'll get used to it. The story doesn't make any sense. The graphics are old and run down, because they're going to say that for this game too. The gameplay's not intuitive. I'm not even scared for real. I'm tired of losing all my progress. And then 6 is streamlined as freak. And you're not going to get that authentic Resident Evil experience, but you're definitely going to like the story a lot more. You're going to like the characters a lot more. You're going to like the combat a lot more. All right, I'm going to go to sleep. I don't even think I'm going to upload this right away. I'm probably going to edit it down. But yeah, respect Resident Evil 6.